You want to say anything?
Cardinals gonna win.
Right? It's our game, gentlemen. Right? It's up to you. Somebody, it's your last game. Just play with your heart. I can't be mad at you. Let's go. Defense on the
Let's go. Channel that emotion. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Defense!
It started I think it started in 1990. So the school started in 1985. It took 5 years to raise the money and do all the administrative stuff to get football started. So it actually started in 1990. So this would be the 21st year of football at the school this year. I got into coaching. My student teaching, my very first day, my very first class, I met a kid, Sandro Sortino, played football. He asked me if I'd ever played football before. I said yes, and he took me down and introduced me to the head coach, and just been doing it since then. 1997 was September 1997 was when I first came to the school.
It's the relationship that we have with our players/students. It's almost like a family here. There's a respect level. Going up through 9, 10, and 11, and once you hit that grade 12, that family bond is built. We have guys.
Connor, you're still great. Hey, is the video on? Connor, you're on.
So you get to see a kid grow from grade 9 through, grade 12, and maybe their extra year of grade 12. I know some of our seniors, our seniors this year, in their grade 12 year and beyond, have been with us since grade 9, and it's great to see them come in as these, skinny little kids who've never put on a football helmet before and turn into these, be great players.
Kenny Fuentes, number 15, play receiver.
Aaron Mitchell-Baker, receiver and a defensive back, and then my number is 12.
It's Christopher Ford. I'm number 55. I play center and defensive tackle. The one thing I think that separates us from all other teams is that, we really are like a family.
I think if you compare it to others, we're one of the most hardworking teams in the league.
We generally have the best group of guys athletically and mentally to play the game.
Our skill position players are some of the best in the league and in Toronto. I know, especially at the position of wide receiver position, we probably had the best wide receiver group. We always have strong running backs. We always have a strong defensive back.
I think our team shows that we can really ball out with the amount of people we have come out every year, which is also hard to compete with, but we always do our share.
It's like one of our other players, Connor Kenny, he came from Bill Crothers, and he said, it's one thing when you can have a whole room full of athletes, but if they're all individuals, it's not a team. It's not a football team. It's a room full of individuals, and I think what separates us is that we can all work together, and you can tell the games that we don't work together as a team, we lose. So just being on the field and in the weight room has helped me out a lot. Because I was always a little bigger, I kind of felt like I wasn't really. I felt different, and even just being in the weight room, improving your strength, it makes you feel a lot better about yourself. And
the other thing is some characteristics about myself, about life and things like that, about how to be inspirational and motivational and just things to keep you going.
The best answer would be maturity, become more of a leader. I've helped kids out on their way up.
It's helped me gain some discipline for sure. Having to balance school and sports, it's tough.
Some friendships of guys that I've made over the past couple of years.
I've met so many people along the way that it's just great. There's nothing about football I don't like. other than sprints. I don't like sprints.
We're pretty regimented. I think football is kind of it's a very regimented thing. It's not like rugby's kind of more free flowing, and basketball also can be more free flowing. We plan our practices right down to the minute.
We go hard or we go home. That's how we practice. It's a regimen. It changes daily. We look at film. We see what we need to fix. Mr. Weir, as being the head coach, he regiments things that we need to work on in different individual groups, and we learn from one another.
Then we'll go into what we call Indy.
Indy is individual, so your specific skill group. So the receivers would go practice with the receivers. On a defensive day, the defensive backs would go practice with defensive backs, linebackers with linebackers, and you do all your skill-specific drills to help improve your overall personal performance.
It's good to get with your skill group because then you can, as a group, you can figure out what you need to do to win the game, right?
And then you just go down into your team and you just practice some plays.
The offense might work on installing some new plays. The defense might work on, a special type of coverage or a shift in the defense we're working on specifically for that week. And we do tailor our practices week by week to the opponent that we're playing. And then generally we'll come together in the last 10 or 15 minutes to do some, some scrimmage or some kind of gentle thud running against each other.
It's like anything. You can't go into like, I'll use the example of a test. You can't go into a test and not have studied. You can't really go to a test and not have reviewed your stuff for like a week.
Everyone generally does their own thing to get them in their own state of mind, their zone sort of thing. But usually in the locker room we'll do something, we'll do a prayer.
It's very spiritual.
And everyone will have a hand on someone's shoulder following along.
It's a very powerful, very emotional thing, and it really gets you focused and excited to play. And I think that's just it's definitely a very important part before we go out and play a game. I think one game we missed saying our prayer and it just didn't feel right,
Usually a lot of guys listen to music. I don't do anything. I'm not one of those hyped up guys. I can tell you that some guys, I know Scimeca, I've seen him slam his head on a door. I was just staring in amazement.
It's very kind of like, rah, rah, rah before the game. The whole thing for that is just, it gets your adrenaline pumping, and, it gets you excited and gets you, want to make the big hit or want to get the interception, or it gets you wanting to go out and put 100% into your game. It kind of just brings a little bit out of you, like a little bit of animal. We
do something called tick, tick, boom, where everyone comes in, there's someone in the middle, he starts off saying tick, tick very slowly, and then everyone else follows by saying boom, and then that repeatedly speeds up. Tick, tick, boom! Tick, tick, boom! Tick, tick, boom! Tick, tick, boom!
I'm not a big rah-rah guy. I'm not going to sit there and jump around and yell and scream at them. And, the kid, they need to motivate themselves. Basically, that's just the last time that the coaches get before the craziness of the game starts, just to emphasize, here's what we're going to do this week, or here's what we want to do, or here's how we play. There's a certain way that Brother Andre comports itself, and that I want us to be known for. Not so much in terms of our wins and losses, but how we play. I generally just say, I want you to play tough, physical football, but be a good competitor, be a good person as well. There's nothing wrong with knocking a guy, down on his butt, but then helping him up afterwards. Football's different. So to get a win in football, you have to really work for it. You work all week to play for that 2 hours. And if you can get out of that 2 hours with a win, playing well, it's a great feeling. I have 37 players on our senior team and 47 on the junior team. And for that amount of guys working together to go towards one goal, it's really rewarding just to get out with a win.
At the end of the day, it's a game, right? So you're going to go through all the emotions just like life, but at the end of the day, it ends at that hour, right? So we do our best to go through the emotions and let it be, not let it take any more.
I think our program, our junior and senior teams together have never been healthier. Our seniors are very competitive, beat Huron Heights, first team in 5 years, 6 years to actually beat them in the regular season. You know, beat Markham, we're a semi-finalist team. You know, we're one win away from the championship. So we were very successful. I think our program is moving in the right direction.
Seniors, you know, they're always competitive. Our numbers are small, but we're always out there with 25 guys. You know, we compete with teams that have 40 and 50 guys, right? So that puts a lot on our players and the commitment they have. You have to remember, football is a game that they're out there every night. It's not like hockey or soccer or you practice 1 or 2 nights a week. Football is a game where you have to be committed to it, learn all the plays, do all the fundamentals. So these kids are out there 2 to 3 hours every night, and then they go home to do homework and things like that after. So they're very committed.
Football's different. I mean, most of the kids come into football never having played before. It's not like hockey or basketball where they played for 10 years before they get here. This is something new to them, and to see them actually turn into, you know, these great players is rewarding. It makes you, I mean, it's not solely up to the coach to do that, but you do have a hand in that. You know, it's up to the kids, but it's nice to see that happen. And just had a great experience this year with the team. They were great kids. We had almost no problems at all. And if you get 87 boys over 3 months, you know, and not to have any problems, that's a pretty big deal, to deal with these crazy teenagers. They've got all these things going through their minds. But for them to be able to focus and give us as coaches the experiences that they did was very rewarding. Couldn't imagine not doing it.
Hey, let's go. Put it up on me. We had a hell of a season, boys.
12 men, 1 heartbeat.
Bring it down, man.
12 men, 1 heartbeat.
12 men, 1 heartbeat.
12 men, 1 heartbeat.
12 men, 1 heartbeat.
Put TJ up.
Sir, can I?
Camera's on.
Sir, can I?
What? Eat a Big Mac? Come on, guys, let's go, okay?